What is up, guys? Griffin here, just coming back to you guys with another live stream. Hopefully you guys are doing all right, and hopefully the stream is working well for you guys so far. Wanted to just kind of hop in real quick and, just talk about, of course, answer your all's questions. If you're new to my channel, new to the streams, new to the videos, all that stuff, on our live streams that we try to do every week for you guys on Sundays, I just come in here. I have a topic. In today's topic, we're just talking about the broader subject of, how to start your pest control business this year. My name is Griffin Thomas. Of course, I own a pest control company, Preferred Pest Management, in the Dallas, Texas area. We've been in business for, 3 going on 4 years now. We're in our 4th year. And on this channel, I just kind of document that journey for you guys. And like I said, just kind of answer your questions along the way. So, of course, if you have any questions, I said we got a couple of them already. But if you think of any questions or anything, don't hesitate, shout them in the chat. And if you see this, once it goes from a live stream to a video, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments as well, because I'll take a lot of comments as well from, the YouTube comments to answer questions, make videos about for you guys, all that good stuff as well. And with that, we'll just kind of dive right in. I'll start out by answering your all's questions. And then, of course, if you guys, because when we talk about the subject, how to actually start your own pest control business, of course, it's going to vary state to state, right? So if you guys would, shout out what state you're from. I know where a couple of you guys are from off the top of my head, some of you that hop in frequently. But shout out in the chat where you guys are from, what state specifically, and I'll even try to answer that, live for you guys. And what perfect timing for me to get a business call. Hadn't got a business call in like 24, 48 hours and have one coming in. I'll just have to bite the bullet and get back to it here in a little bit for you guys. But yeah, with that, we'll shout out some of you guys in the chat right now. Aaron Tucker, how's it going? Natural Pest Management, how's it going? Crawdad, how's it going? And Karate Chick, how is it going? We'll start off with Aaron Tucker's question here right from the get. Hey Griffin, might be a personal question. Just wondering, how much money did you take home for yourself? So your first year you did 100,000 in sales. How much did you take home? Second year, third year, etc. Which is a good question, by the way, because you guys, I don't really hit on it too often. I try to, break it down in terms of like percentages and all that stuff for you guys, but in terms of just kind of what to expect in terms of, kind of your net profit, your bring home, whatever you want to refer to it as. It's going to vary for a lot of you guys based on a couple things. One, how, and I'll answer, the actual question, how much did I bring home personally my first year in a second, but just to give you guys some context on what goes into your bring home. Of course, what is your bring home? Obviously, that's going to be what you pay your bills with. Do you provide for groceries? Any money that obviously you're pulling from the business, that's going to be your... That customer just texted me. That's something we're not going to be able to handle anyways. It's a squirrel in a chimney. Anything that you're obviously pulling out of the business, that's going to be your take-home pay, right? For us, our first year, it was really not that much compared to what I thought, in terms of like a percentage. I brought home roughly, it was like right at 45-50%. So, about 45 to 50,000. Last year, or not last year, the next year, what was that? 2021 was our first like full calendar year. That was the year we brought home roughly like 45-50%, which was about $45,000 to $50,000, because of course we hit like right at $100,000 in sales. 2022, so not last year, but 2022, we showed on paper that we made, in terms of what I paid myself, pretty much right at 70,000. So again, right in line with about 40% roughly. Don't know why my camera's glitching. I'll just pull up this for you guys. There we go. We'll just do that, and we'll go over here to our ads, because we're going to be talking about ads here in a minute as well, because I didn't notice that the camera was tweaking out for some reason. Hopefully that has come to an end for you guys. But Yeah, 2022, like I said, around that same percentage, about 40%, 45% is what we took home, which I keep referring to the percentage because that is what you're going to want to focus on the most. So say, you need to make, we'll just say 10 grand a month from your company or 5 grand a month, whatever you need to make from your company. From there, you just reverse engineer the math to figure out how much do you need in sales, because that of course is kind of geared more towards people that are wanting to be a one-man show. If you're someone like me, I don't really focus a whole lot on what my bring home is, as long as I'm just able to cover the bills, right? Everything from there is just going to get reinvested back into the company. So for us, that number from a percentage standpoint gets lower and lower and lower as our sales go up, if that makes sense, because as our sales go up, we're able to reinvest more and more into the company, so the percentage comes down. So overall, I'm taking, over the last 2 years, pretty much right at $70,000 to $80,000. I think this year was like 77 to be exact, 76, 77. So, again, that percentage actually decreased because obviously our sales were up year over year. I think it was, right at 40%, where the year before it was like 45, 44%. So like I mentioned, that percent is going to keep dropping the longer that we're in business. But yeah, hopefully that kind of answers the question. In terms of the $100,000 a year, I only took out about $45,000 roughly. The 100 and what was it, like 40 or 150, something like that, $1,000 a year, I took out about 70,000. And then this last year was my highest year, of course, because we get bigger and bigger. Plus we had some cost of living increases, which I harp on you guys a lot to not do from my experience. We took out about 76, 77,000, which came out to about 40%, 45%, something like that. So yeah, hopefully that kind of answers that question. Like I said, just if you want to figure out how, from a mathematical equation standpoint, right, of, how much money in sales do I need to make, just go based off a rule of thumb, from my experience, that you want to take out no more. Like we said, that percentage is going to drop every single year. The bigger and bigger you get, eventually you're going to get to a point where you're only really bringing home like 5 to 10% of your actual, sales, right? But early on, when you're first getting started, I would say just do the math based on about 40 to 50%, no more than probably 50%. And then from there, just reverse engineer it. 50% is a really easy number, because say you need to do $5,000 in terms of your bring home. What do? You just multiply that times 2, because obviously 50% plus 50% is 100%. So you just say, okay, that means I need to make $10,000 a month, right? Let's see. Do you do your own payroll, taxes, etc., or do you have an accountant? So we do have an accountant. We're actually kind of in the process of looking for a new one for this upcoming year. But I handle everything in terms of like payroll and all that myself, because QuickBooks does make it easy if you use what is there out there? QuickBooks. I think Gusto is another one that a lot of people are liking. I think there might be one called like FreshBooks too. There's a whole bunch of them, right? If you, the main thing is if you find a good one, they make it very easy for you. A lot of it's automated, because of course you have like quarterly tax and all that stuff as well. Like I just had like a very small payment come out on the, what was it, like 31st or something like that, and they handled it for me on the payroll tax, all that side of it, in terms of referring to QuickBooks is who we use. Which, like I said, makes it real easy. But I do have an accountant. I've had an accountant for 2 years now. I think this will be my 3rd year. This will either be my 2nd or 3rd year using an accountant. But like I said, we're going to probably shop around, just because from what I understand, like, we're paying a little bit too much. I don't know if it's because of some things we were having them do this past year or what, but they got very expensive on us. I mean, we were paying, I think this last year we paid, let me see, $2,200 plus, we probably paid them close to like $8,000 to $10,000 from my understanding, it should be a fraction of that. Of course, you know, accounting isn't something you want to limp out on, right? Just like with payroll software and everything, you don't want to limp out on that. But, you know, there is kind of a running, it's just like going to a doctor, right? You know, you get multiple opinions, multiple, or maybe not going to a doctor is probably not a good example, but like a home improvement, you know, thing that you're doing, right? You get multiple quotes, multiple opinions, all that type of stuff, and just go from there. That's kind of what we're doing right now. We're kind of feeling out the market for accountants, just because, like I said, I feel like we spent a little bit too, not a little, I mean, we spent way too much on accounting last year. In terms of percentage, it took, let's see, let's just say $8,000 is what we spent with them. That would mean that it came out to, from a percentage standpoint, what, about 5% or so? Five, not 10, obviously. Yeah, about 5% even of our gross sales. So hopefully that answers the question. Yeah, I mean, if I remember right, Natural Pest Management, you're taking over a company that's already been around for a while. I hope to God that there's some good accounting in place for you guys. Crawdad said, appreciate what you do. No, I appreciate you all tuning in. Like I always say, I'm just kind of documenting my journey more than anything. I wish that there were a lot more people doing that, not just in our industry, but every industry, because like, my God, like how easy would it be, or not easy, because obviously you still got to do the work, right? But how much more accessible, I guess is the word I should use, would it be if just everybody across the board was at least just documenting what they do versus just always trying to sell shit? That's the problem, I feel like, with YouTube and internet culture is like everyone's always trying to sell some shit. Which, don't get me wrong, like there's a time and a place where if you have a service that you can offer and you know it applies to a certain group, then by all means go ahead and sell it. But you know, if we could just kind of as a whole just get to a place where we're just kind of documenting what we do, just saying how much more accessible business ownership in general would be for a lot of people, because I swear a lot of people just kind of either stop trying, they fail, etc. You know, they just can't find the information. Like I spend so much time, you know, researching, trial and error, this and that and the other, and that's what my channel's for at the end of the day. And you know, if it can help you guys in any way, like I was talking about, you know, get to where I'm at, if not higher. Some of you all have already passed me, and it's cool to see. Like if I can like help just propel you guys, then you know, that's me kind of just doing what I need to do at the end of the day, you know, my quote unquote calling, if that makes sense. And hopefully you guys like the streams and stuff too. You know, I like doing the stream format just because it's not a whole lot of editing or anything that goes into it. We just come, have a conversation, answer questions, provide value, you know, all that good stuff. And a lot of times I'll even learn stuff on the back end from you guys, because if I don't know an answer, I'll just tell you guys I don't know, and then I look into it and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I mean that actually seems pretty badass. Let me try that out. And then, you know, it's a win-win for everybody. I'm just trailing behind you time and financial wise. You are a good benchmark for me. Your online presence way better. I'm slacking on that. Yeah, and I mean the online presence thing, that's like a constant work in progress too. I mean, even me, I'm constantly questioning, like, am I doing enough? Am I posting enough? Am I, you know, this and that and the other? Not like from my YouTube channel standpoint, but for the pest control business specifically. You know, with like your Google business profile, your website, blog posts, SEO, just overall SEO, right? I always tell everyone, like, you know, your business is an asset, right? But your online presence is an asset of the business as well, because, you know, nothing is better than getting leads. Like, I'm pretty sure that lead I just had come in, even though like I said, we're not gonna be able to do nothing with it. It didn't cost us anything. It cost us sweat equity, if nothing else. We just had to go in, put in the work, build up the credibility and SEO and all that type of stuff. And you know, that has value in terms of, you know, when you go to, say you do decide you want to sell your company someday, that is something that is now being taken into consideration in evaluations, is your overall footprint, you know, in terms of local search dominance of your area. Because, you know, like we said, there's not, you can't put, I mean, you can obviously, but to a certain degree, like you can't put a set dollar amount on, getting 20 leads a month for free, quote unquote, or 40 leads. Or I've seen some people even get 1 to 200 leads per month from their website and Google Business Profile because, they're in a good location. They've optimized everything. Got some news about our location. If you're actually paying attention, I think I'm actually kind of blocking it. But I've been looking into some office space recently, once again, because we're getting ready to move here probably within the next, 2 or 3 months, to a new home a little bit further out, not in the country per se, because, we're in the Dallas, Texas area, of course, but moving out a little bit further, lowering our cost of living by probably $1,500 to $2,000 a month. And with that, of course, I'll be able to afford some office space. And I think that alone is going to help us as well because we're going to be in a much more population dense area. There's good tools for that. Again, going back to the YouTube channel, I'll be able to document that for you guys, show you guys kind of, what goes into picking our office space in terms of population density. Because of course, like where we're at right now, if we pull up a Google map, let's just type in Google Maps, I guess. Go over here. If we look, at our radius, right, just kind of a rough estimate area, we are, zooming out a little bit. We're like right in this area roughly, in the Rowlett, Texas area, right? Well, you see a little blue dot there, like I said, right in this area. And what do you see here? What is hurting us right now? Look at all this blue right here. Can't put houses there, can you? That, just to put in perspective, this bridge right here, it's a 2-mile bridge. So, I mean, just think all those potential homes. Look at all the green in here. Look at all the green still out here. It is developing. I mean, I can tell you guys firsthand, all this where you see it's like developing, Royce City, Fate, Texas, all that stuff. This was like all green, just like within the last 3 years, roughly, since we started the business. But all this green, all this blue, it's hurting us at the end of the day. Like we've kind of tapped out how much, like I know for a fact during busy season, I'm going to get 30 to 40, maybe 50 at the most leads per month from our local, SEO efforts. But say we slide over in this area, which we're looking somewhere around, where it says Plano East up here, to as far west as like, where it says, University, UTD, University of Texas, Dallas. We're looking kind of right in this area. What do you see? A lot less green. You have some parks and preserves and stuff, but a lot less green and pretty much no blue, right? Because same thing to the north. We got another lake up here, Lake Lavon. We're ranking well up here. The only problem is you can't put houses on a lake, obviously. So, that's why we're looking at moving, further out here for our living, somewhere in Lavon, Fate, Rockwall, somewhere in this area. But we're planning on, like I said, getting an office, somewhere in this area, which is going to help us big time. We're probably going to, at least my estimations based on math, because like I said, there's tools where you can actually calculate, what the population estimated, right? Population is within a 5-mile, 10-mile, etc. radius. The population difference is huge. We're talking like minimum 2.5 on a conservative estimate to upwards of 4.5 population difference. So, just do the math. Let's just say we'll split the difference. We'll say 3x difference. If we're already getting, 30 to call it 50 leads, we'll even say, like I said, we want to lowball estimations. If we're already getting, we'll call it 30 leads a month on average from our business profile during the busy season. I should stress that during the slow season, it's like, 10, maybe 20 at the most. But let's just, like I said, lowball it for busy season, say 30, that ups it to what, about 80, 90 leads a month. So yeah, that'd be a game changer, obviously. And it's an investment. I call it advertising costs because that's what it is. Obviously we'd like to have an office as well, just in general, right? But, that's what we're going to end up doing because it's going to, even after the office space I'm looking at, if I go with the high end option, which is $450 a month, I can do it for as low as $150, but for $450, I can get my own like personal office, furbished apparently too. If I was reading everything right, I've been emailing with the, quote unquote landlord. you know, even at $450 a month, if we're saving close to 1,500 to 2,000, we're still saving over $1,000+ a month, 1,000 to 1,500 a month by moving and getting an actual office. So yeah, I'll definitely keep you guys updated on that, you know, over the coming months. But yeah, you got to think about that kind of stuff when it comes to your online presence too. You know, getting back to what Crawdad was talking about. Once you get that going, you know, it's like a wrecking ball, or not even a wrecking ball. It's like I compare it to like a snowball. You know, once you start getting leads, getting reviews, this and that and the other, it just starts to compound over and over and over. And, you know, you get this just beast going of a business in terms of your online presence. And that's just from the Google side specifically. We're not getting into Facebook. We're not getting into Nextdoor. Like, we're not even talking about all these other avenues, right? Karate Chick said you spelled Lions wrong on your shirt. Yeah, man, I was pulling for y'all. I was hoping the Lions were obviously, you know, I not to like talk crap or anything on the Lions, but I'd rather play the Lions than the 49ers at the end of the day. I wanted a rematch too from that week 1 game. But man, no, y'all had a hell of a year. Let's see. Natural Pest Management said from Arkansas. Karate Chicks in Canada. Yeah, I always forget that you're from Canada, because Canada, everything is just a totally different ball game over there. Next state over, so you must be talking Louisiana. So we got Louisiana in the house, Arkansas, Canada. If you're all just tuning in, by the way, I'm asking you guys to shout out where you guys are from, because of course the broader subject for today is actually how to start your own pest control business. And for me to help you guys out a little bit better, if I actually know what states you are from, we can actually pull up your Department of Agriculture website. A lot of times on those websites, they'll lay it out in black and white. You know, first and foremost, what do you have to do? Because a lot of you guys don't know. You know, a lot of you guys, I know you're tuning in. You may have never even worked in the pest control industry before in your life, and you know, you just don't really know what it takes. So if you don't know, or not necessarily you don't know what it takes in terms of work, obviously, but like what it takes in terms of licensing, this and that and the other. So if you don't know what you need to do in terms of the legalities of everything, drop your state and whatnot in the comments in the chat, and we'll take a look at your specific, you know, TDA, or for me it's TDA. For you guys, it may be, you know, whatever your state is, Department of Agriculture, LDA, MODA, whatever the case may be. Let's see. Gardner Earth Guy says, I live near Pensacola, have a PCO lawn and ornamental license, want to find startup investors capital. How do I find that? So a lot of times, in all honesty, I mean, there are websites that you can use for like almost like crowdfunding, right? There's plenty of those you could start with. Another thing you could do is quite literally go to a bank with your business plan and pitch the bank as your investor. Of course, this means you're more so getting a business loan than anything. That is the route I would rather go, in all honesty, if I were, because I was looking into maybe doing that at some point. I'm just looking at cash flowing everything personally, but I would rather pitch it to a bank to get a good business loan because the bank is still your partner. You know, they're looking at you as an your business as an investment, right? They're looking at, hey, you know, we're going to give you $50,000 or whatever the case may be, right? And we're going to get, you know, a 5% a year return. You know, these are just random numbers here. 5% annual rate of return on this loan over, you know, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be, right? But in order to get that loan, you're having to pitch them as an investor just like you would any other investor. So you have to have, of course, all of your ducks in a row in terms of your business plan, all of that. It sounds like you may already have a business potentially, since you have a lawn and ornamental. You at least have a lawn and ornamental license, or sounds like you may even have pest control and lawn and ornamental. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, regardless of who you're going to get in contact with, be it a bank, be it an actual individual investor, angel investor is what a lot of what they call themselves. You know, you're going to have to, of course, have your business plan together first and foremost, show that you have proof of concept, not just, you know, oh, you know, I got my license and, you know, I got a truck and this and that. They're going to be like, okay, What's your plan to get customers? What's your expected, all these different numbers, right? Like, what is your expected gross sales over 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, etc. You just have to lay out everything for them in almost like a PowerPoint to a certain degree format. Not that I have actually done that. Again, I'm just from this standpoint, just giving you what I've heard other people have to do. A lot of times I only like to speak on stuff from like my experience. But like I said, I was even looking into even doing it myself. The furthest that I got was, like I said, if I was to go pitch a bank, which didn't even have to end up doing at the end of the day. And we probably could, because we're looking at possibly starting to purchase some smaller like one-man operations over the next 5 to 10 years. And, we'd be using banks specifically for that. I know it probably doesn't answer that question entirely, but hopefully it at least kind of, steers you in the right direction. Some things that if you're wondering, well, what do I look up? Look up, startup investors near me, or not even near me, right? Just startup investors, angel investors. What are other terms? I mean, you could even look up crowdfunding too. I just know crowdfunding is primarily for like real estate for the most part. But you could try it if nothing else. Like I said, my personal opinion, because I never want to give up equity in my business until I decide to sell. If you're trying to retain equity in your business, then go pitch a bank on trying to get a loan. Just my opinion. Just signed up with QuickBooks last week. Right on. Let's see. How's it going, Den? Can we talk GorillaDesk a bit, specifically line items? Yeah, let me pull up. I think I have GorillaDesk here. Yeah, let me, let's see. Let's go to like my personal account. So when you say line items, I'm assuming you're talking about like invoices. So I'll pull up like an invoice here just for an example. So let me see. So is there any question, Den, you have specifically about like line items, I guess? Natural Pest Management says, I feel like GorillaDesk offers so much that I'm not taking advantage of. Yeah, GorillaDesk are always adding features too. I should say that. I always mention that, but they're always adding stuff. There's even stuff like Chris, I think he's like the main owner of GorillaDesk. He'll always like message me on Facebook and be like, hey, yeah, you should look into this. You should. And I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Cool. Like, thanks for letting me know. Cause like, I'm always so busy first and foremost that a lot of times I get to only really dive into the platform maybe like once or twice a year in terms of like looking at new stuff, unless if of course, he shouts it out, on his group. He has like one or two groups he manages specifically. One is, I think, Pest Control Professionals, and the other one is like GorillaDesk Forum or something like that. But yeah, a lot of times I'm even behind on all that. And by the way, if you guys want to try out GorillaDesk, of course, we now have an affiliate link with them. You guys know I'm always straight up about anything like that because I don't like sell you guys a bunch of crap or anything like that. If you want to try GorillaDesk out, there is an affiliate link, I believe, in the description box of this video. It should be in the description box of every video, I believe, and it will get you 2 weeks of GorillaDesk PRO for free. I'm trying to get my description box pulled up here to make sure that it is there. Yeah, it says it's right there. It's the first link. It says get GorillaDesk Pro 14 days free. Like I said, there's no strings attached with that either. Say you don't like it, they're not gonna like charge your card or anything. You can cancel it within that 14 days, and no big deal. But a lot of you guys always ask how you can support the channel and whatnot. Any of those affiliate links, we don't really make anything off YouTube. Just to put in perspective, our average YouTube video has made like 50 cents. So, I mean, we don't really make like anything off YouTube or anything. And I don't like really sell you guys really anything. So, yeah, if you want to use the affiliate link, I appreciate it. If not, not a big deal. And of course, if you ever have questions about GorillaDesk, always feel free to shout it out like Mr. Den did. I want to see if he answered real quick about the line items. Let's see. I'm just setting up line items. How specific should it be? Like, so I'll just give you kind of an idea of like what we got. We're always adding, and I'm kind of horrible about removing ones as well. You can see I got a whole bunch of them, right? And it's super easy obviously to add new ones, but I got so many different ones. I need to go in here and clear out some of them because some of them I just don't even use, in all honesty. But let's just say, for example, we'll find like our quarterly service one, right? So quarterly service, like this one, it just says quarterly service. I labeled it as just general maintenance every 3 months, right? This was for people that were like paying per service, which we really don't have a lot of those anymore. Another example is, quarterly service paid yearly. So we just say quarterly service quarterly pest control paid yearly with 365-day guarantee. And then of course, your $500. The main thing is you want to make sure, like, say you're setting up a yearly or monthly, subscription type of thing. You want to go in here to where it says invoice frequency, edit that. You can do it weekly, monthly, yearly, etc. The main thing is when you're setting this up, see how it kind of makes it where I can't edit it in here. What you need to do is whenever you're doing that, pick which date. Obviously, the customer, say it's a yearly account, right? Say we're going to charge them on February 10th, right? So we would change that in here. Then we'd go into invoice frequency, yearly, day of the year, every 1 year. Ends never. Invoice date, you can do send by email. Send by email. Oh, they got the SMS in here now. That's new. Speaking of new feature, this was not a thing literally just like 48 hours ago, at least from what I understand. They finally got SMS installed in here because I don't pay for any of the SMS stuff that GorillaDesk has either. So this must be, let me try something here. I want to make sure like it's not just for one of my accounts, like for my personal account. So I'm going to go to a customer that would not mind me playing around on her account. Let's see. Yearly. Oh, it is. So that's free. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I didn't know if it was just doing that because I was on like my quote unquote dummy account that you automatically get, whenever you like sign up for GorillaDesk. So that is awesome. You can now send it via SMS as well, which will give them, of course, a pay link. So say, for whatever reason, you have a customer that just doesn't feel comfortable, which we don't really tolerate those type of customers, I'll say. But let's say you have a customer who just doesn't want to put a card on file. They would rather, have the invoice sent to them, either email or text. You could do email and text. It'll send it to them, send them their little pay link. Ours, of course, we do charge to and send receipt because we get a card on file. For our yearlies, though, I just leave it as none. What'll happen is I have it in there, of course, on the calendar, and it'll let us know, obviously, that, hey, this is the invoice due date, and then I'll just tell them when their next quarterly service for the next year comes up. Hey, this is your service where your 1 year renewal is up. If you want to go ahead and continue service with us, just let us know and we'll go ahead and get your card charged and send the receipt. Or if you need to update the card, let us know, yada, yada, yada. Or if you have it in your service agreement, which technically we do, I'm just I try to be overly, what's the word I'm looking for? Courteous of like charging people, especially on yearlies, right? Because it's not a little chunk of change. You're usually talking $400 to $1,200+, right? Depending on how much they're signed up for. I don't want them to be like kind of surprised out of the blue. Oh, hey, boom, card's charged. That's why we always send out like a notification before that next service. And then if they want to cancel, no big deal. If they say go ahead, which most of them do, pretty much all of them do, then we'll go ahead and, charge and send receipt and, move on from there. Let me go back here. Let me see if you had another question about that. I'm just setting up new items specific like quarterly spray, chemical or services. I asked GorillaDesk sales guy about SMS invoicing. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, this is like brand new. That was not on there like literally as far as I know. Because I just added a customer with a yearly recurring invoice like Thursday or Friday, and I did not see the send SMS option unless if I just overlooked it. Um so yeah, hopefully that answers that question too, Den. If you have a follow-up question to it or anything, just let me know. Let's see. I made it always messy. Yeah, how's it going, Kristen from Georgia? Shout out. And Washington State. So we got Washington State, Georgia. Who else was in here? Arkansas, Louisiana, Canada. Got a couple of you to go over. Don't have to worry about me though. I'm already running. That's right, yeah, because you all do. I forget, Kristen. Are you all full time now, or are you still in that process of making that full leap? Got my AG license right on. So you're good to go then, Den. If you got your license and everything, sounds like you're good to go. Let's see. Crawdad said, do you only accept credit card payments from customers? Checks and cash make scheduling recurring services frustrating. Yes, sir. Yeah, no, we pretty much, I mean, we have a couple like OG customers who, they pay through Zelle. Trying to think if I have anyone that pays. Yeah, actually, I do have an old guy that pays with checks still. Just serviced him last month, actually. I do have a few, especially commercial accounts, right? Commercial, a lot of time they want to pay with check specifically. Yeah, I mean, I definitely have some sprinkled in through there, but 90+% of my base, we get a debit or credit card on file. Like, if they want to be set up on recurring where they're paying monthly, paying yearly, that type of thing, it's credit or debit card only. Especially for the monthly billing because, we're not going to chase the money around. I had one customer, even to this day, she's very nice. If I didn't live so close to her, we would change it. And I literally go once a month and pick up the cash from her. Like I said, I mean, super nice customer, and that's like the only reason I made that exception for her. But yeah, no, 90%, if not more, of our customers, it's especially residential. If I say residential specifically, yeah, 95%, if not more, of them are debit or credit card on file. And then if they don't like that, then we say, yeah, no, if you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. That's just what we do for our recurring service. If you'd rather just kind of pay as you go, you can do that. And then we tell them that, this is the rate for that, which is usually about $25 higher, if not more, per service. So, if you want to get picky, then you got to pay for it at the end of the day. Kristen said, I do all digital payment options, so credit card, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, etc. I don't generally accept checks and try to discourage cash because it adds more. Exactly. Yeah, like I got $20. Well, this was a tip that I got for Christmas from a customer that I just went to a few weeks ago. But I still, keyword, a few weeks ago, and I still got the cash in my wallet. Like, I really don't like taking cash. Obviously, with a tip, you're never going to complain, right? But like even that customer I mentioned where I go collect the cash from her personally each month, a lot of times that cash just kind of gets squandered. I mean, I guess technically speaking, Uncle Sam doesn't have to know about it. I still report it all because, I'm growing a legit. That's what I even tell people too, because I'm sure a lot of you guys that are already starting, like Kristen, I'm sure you've ran into it. Maybe a few of you have already ran into this as well. Like you're selling a customer and they're like, oh, do you do cash discounts? And I'm like, no, like we're a legit business. Like we're not doing anything under the table or anything like that. I oftentimes want to, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of times I'm like, man, the government, right? But at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? Crawdad says, check for local small business programs in the area, business development centers design to help new small. Yeah, exactly. One in my area helped pay for my website. That's awesome, actually. Offer a good bit of resources. Yeah, no, yeah. Another place too that sometimes you can check out is your Chamber of Commerce. Oops. Here, I'll just do this real quick. I'm doing something on the back end because I totally forgot to fire up. I'm trying to start recording these as a podcast as well for everybody, for people that actually prefer to like listen to the audio. So that's what we're going to be doing here on the back end. Let's see. Go back in here. Go back in here. And whoppa. There we go. And we're back. Let me go back to your all's questions here really quick. How about, so let's see, Den says, how about specialty services? So when you're talking about specialty services, are you referring to the line item still? Or are you referring to like one-time services, termite, that type of thing? Because, we have the line item. The line item we keep very, very just short and sweet to the point what the service is. Then you have your terms, and the terms is where a lot of times we will actually fill in, the actual terms, like for exclusion, for example. Let's say I wanted to go in here to estimates, right? So we have a default one because most of our estimates are primarily for our rodent exclusion work. You can see here that we have like a full-on default from one that we filled out for a customer. And from there, I just kind of go in and, change out, whatever number of, attic vents or, roof returns, things of that nature, what's in it, what's not in it. But same thing, and what I do as well, because the only downside of doing this, which I hope GorillaDesk gets this fixed soon for the estimate side specifically, is you can only set default terms for like everything, right? You can't have default terms for each different, line item. I think you can, however, for the invoices. So, and if not, then that's kind of frustrating as well. But, my whole point there was, we utilize the term section a lot when it comes to actually putting in, the nuts and bolts of the service, if that makes sense. Aaron Tucker's from Maryland. Yeah, we got a bunch of you guys all over the country. Full-time. Terminix wouldn't let me stay part-time. So you're right in the mix with all of us, Kristen. Good stuff. I will say I've tried applying to different places, not pest control related, to fill in the gaps of time, but everyone says they're hiring. They aren't, right? Figured I'd utilize Uber, Lyft again to make up for income and time and use that as an excuse for, and when I very, very, very first got started, because of course, I had, like I mentioned, just a little bit to fall back on. I wanted to utilize that for advertising, right? So what I did when I very, very first started was I literally had my truck that was labeled, and I was doing, I think it was DoorDash mostly is what I was doing personally. But I remember, in looking back on it, I feel almost tacky for doing it. But a lot of times, because, doing DoorDash, you can't like open the bag or anything, right? So there was no way to like slip a business card in. I would literally take a piece of tape. I had a little roll of tape, and I would tape my business card to each bag. Didn't get, as far as I know, didn't get a single sale from it or anything. Looking back on it today, I'm like, that's kind of cringe. I can't believe I did that. But, when you're first starting, you'll do anything, right? And like I said, I was just trying more so to potentially get a customer, but also not have to dip into my quote unquote emergency fund when first starting my business. Those of you that don't know, I had virtually no money when I started my business. I had equity from a car that I sold. It was like $8,000 roughly that I had in equity in that car. I had to put $2,000 of it into my down payment for a truck. So, we had roughly like $6,000. And then, of course, by the time you pay everything to get your business up and going, we had probably like $3,000, maybe $4,000 total to kind of fall back on. Thank God my wife had just started working after taking a year or so off, being a stay-at-home mom for our first child. She had just started going back to work, like 2 months before I lost my job at Terminix. So thank God for that, right? Even though I forget what she was making decent, like for, we're talking 2020 before inflation just exploded, which is a subject for another day. But yeah, I mean, she was making just enough to kind of hold the house down, quote unquote. And then, if we wanted to spend any money elsewhere in the business or, go out or anything like that, then, I either had to sell some services or, go do like DoorDash or something like that. But no, I mean, there's nothing wrong at all, guys. Like, don't think when you start your business that, like, the phone's just going to start ringing. Like, you're going to have to, unless if, of course, you got just a huge nest egg to fall back on, which I know most of you guys don't. None of us were born with a silver or gold spoon in our mouth, right? A lot of us, we got maybe a few thousand at the most to fall back on if we're lucky. And, you don't want to have to dip into that. You want to ideally put it into your marketing, your website, things of that nature. So, don't be shy about, getting a part-time job or, doing a DoorDash. In today's world, like, it's so, this is going to sound controversial. It's easier now more than ever to start a business from the standpoint of it's very easy to do work on the side to at least make some money while you're getting your business up and going, right? The fact that you don't have to have a contractual obligation to, say, McDonald's, Walmart, any of these little, what I would consider part-time type of jobs, right? You can literally fire up Uber, DoorDash, Instacart. There's so many different things nowadays that you can do on the side to at least, kind of tie you over, so to speak, in terms of, you're not just going to sink or swim within 1 month because, you didn't have money set aside, right? Like, you can go out there, work on your business, and then in the evenings, go out and hustle, make the money you got to make to at least survive, a quick 50, 100, 150 bucks, and, move on and live to fight another day. The main thing is you got to realize that that's what it's going to take for a lot of you guys. Like I said, I did it. Luckily, praise Lord, I only had to do it for probably like 2 months, and I never had to do it every single day or anything like that because the phone did start ringing for us relatively early. But, I still did it at the end of the day. And, that is definitely what it takes. Let's see. We started using the GorillaDesk. Yeah, the ACH feature. I just seen that. I'm definitely interested to see, how customers will take to that for sure because it would save us a lot of money. ACH fee through Stripe is like next to nothing compared to the credit card processing fee, right? I think it's like a 2% difference roughly. So I mean, do 2% on 100,000 a year, 200,000 a year. You're talking $2,000 to $4,000 that you could be saving going that route. So I was even considering like telling customers that just kind of doing a percentage, right? Especially for the customers that like pay for the year up front. Like, hey, if you want to go ahead and pay via ACH, instead of paying 500 for the year. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it'd be interesting to see how it works because, yeah, I mean, 1%, that's only $5 difference. Like, if you want to save a quick $5, let's do ACH. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think it'll definitely have its time in place. I'm interested, but I don't know how I'm going to implement it yet. Let's see. Natural Pest Management said we drive all over picking up cash and checks. We got to work on this. Yeah, no, yeah, you definitely don't want to be doing that. It's not sustainable whatsoever. Yes, that helps a lot. Good, good. Crawdad said, me too. NPH residential has to be card only. About to face this battle, may lose a bit of customers, but worth it. Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I have some customers that, that's how they pay, and I'm not like overly worried about it. It's just, eventually they will get weeded out, like you mentioned. Either they're gonna, put the card on file or they're gonna cancel ultimately. But, it's one of those things where, last thing I want to do, or what you guys even should want to do, is obviously run around collecting payment. The other thing, and when we say collecting payment, guys, too, another thing is even with cards, right? Like, you're gonna have people's cards, fail, and you're gonna be, you know, chasing some money still. It just obviously is a little bit easier when we go that card route for sure. Let's see. Kristen says, my hubby's working full time still with Terminex, so really he's supporting us for the time being, though the business is covering itself, so I'm not losing pocket money, but I'm not paying myself either yet. Yeah, exactly. And that's literally where I was for about my first, what was it, 2 months roughly in business. And then, we started having bigger month, bigger month, bigger month very quickly. And then now we're kind of in that stage still where we're getting we're on the crisp. We're on the edge now. Like, we are so close to breaking through to this next level. That's why we fired up these Google ads. Speaking of Google ads, by the way, we can dive into it here in a minute, like just kind of give you guys an update on what the ads look like, all that stuff. But you guys know I've mentioned, what's her name? Michelle Kopp on the channel a couple of times. She actually interviewed me this past Wednesday. We did about, a 1 hour interview, where she kind of broke down my Google Ads account, a couple of my landing pages. One of them she did without interviewing me, so she's going to have 2 separate videos for us coming out. One of them should be coming out, sounds like any day now. Breaking down, what was it, our bedbug, I believe, bedbug landing page, either our bedbug or termite, one or the other. And then, like I said, she actually interviewed me. We did like almost kind of like a podcast interview type of video, but not really podcast, because she was sharing her screen, like looking at my account, looking at my landing page. It'll be a very, very informative video for you guys that I think you guys will definitely enjoy, especially for those of you that want to learn more about Google Ads. She taught me so much in that little, like, 1 hour that, as you guys can see, we got our ad strength here up to good. I haven't had an ad strength of good like in really ever, to be honest. And like I said, we can break it down here in a minute for you guys, but just wanted to shout her out. I appreciate her, taking the time to call me up and schedule that interview. And, like I said, I definitely got value from it, and I think you guys will get a lot of value. She owns a digital marketing company for smaller like service business, and not just service businesses, but like local businesses that need help with Google Ads and things like that. And I've been following her since she had like 300 subs. I think she's up to like 1,500, maybe more now. And yeah, she definitely provides a lot of good free value for everyone on YouTube as well. And when I see those videos start coming out, I'll be sure to share them on my channel as well for you guys, because like I said, there's going to be some good information in there for you all. Let's see. Aaron Tucker says, have you heard of the builder's gap that is under the roof and above the gutters for attic airflow? Majority of apartment buildings here in Maryland have this gap and are all brick. Mice get in easy. So, no, not down here at least. Now, I will run into buildings, or not buildings, more so homes specifically, that because we don't do exclusion services on any commercial buildings at all, which I would consider any apartment buildings and things like that as commercial as well. Only thing that we offer for them is, of course, rodent stations, traps, live trapping if needed. But in terms of exclusion, we just don't touch commercial buildings at all. In terms of the homes that we run into, we will sometimes see, especially with older homes that have settled a lot, in that same type of area you're talking about, you know, a gap start to form, especially, or a lot of times even where, you know, a corner would, you know, be formed, same thing, and may start to kind of separate. And then from there, a squirrel or something chews, it's usually squirrels 90% of the time. They'll chew out like a perfectly defined little hole. They'll get up underneath that shingle and chew it out. So anytime I'm dealing with a squirrel job, we'll check out those corners just to make sure that, you know, they haven't chewed that out or anything like that. But yeah, no, we don't really, at least from my experience, deal with a whole lot of that. Like you said, that might be more of a commercial building thing. It's hard to say for sure. But yeah, no, good question. Hopefully, like I said, hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. If you are, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. I say we got like somewhere around 8 to 10 of you tuning in right now. And I see we got what, like 3 likes right now, 2 or 3 likes. So if you're enjoying the stream, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. And if you're not already subscribed, of course, go ahead and subscribe down below. Hit the bell icon, all that good stuff. That way you won't miss any of our future live streams or videos. I seen our recent video. A lot of you guys seem to really like the exclusion video, by the way. I saw we just posted that video like 3 or 4 days ago, and it's up to almost 2,000 views already. It's on pace to shatter every record on this channel at the rate that it's going. It's getting like 20 to 60 views an hour since it's gone up. Let me know too if you guys prefer those type of videos. Like obviously I can't, there's only so much that I can post when it comes to that type of content, but if you guys prefer some more like in the field, tutorial, whatever the case may be, you know, those type of videos from a service side, definitely let me know. I know I need to get on actually making a video for you guys on how we create those rodent cages. And if you're wondering what type of rodent cages we're talking about, I can pull one up here. Rodent proof roofing vent cage. So if you look here, that's the other thing too. You have to make sure that you're measuring the stuff right. Because if you go to buy these, right, you need to know for a fact what size you need, because there's just so many sizes, right? Easiest way to do this, by the way, is go to Home Depot. You know, go to either their app. I just do it on the app usually because I can take a screenshot. You know, it makes it nice and easy, right? And this is gonna be some good game for y'all right here. Those of you that are looking to get into the rodent side specifically. Let me go ahead and close some shit out. I don't need this stuff pulled up right now. So let's type in, man, come on now. So we'll just type in roofing vent. This is what I do anytime, you know, I need to remind myself of how I need to measure what type of vent we're doing. So, you know, this one's very common here. We can do this one, for example. So what you want to do is click on it, and if you scroll down far enough, I don't know why it's pulling up all this bullshit. What just happened? My goodness. Maybe if I close out Discord too. All right, let's try this again. So this is a very common roofing vent that we will run into. And what you'll do is you will, if it will ever load up, my God, what is going on with Home Depot today? So see where it says specifications, dimensions, it'll literally tell you guys what you need to measure in terms of making your own cover, right? Or like I said, if you're going to go purchase them, you know what your dimensions need to be. So my rule of thumb is whatever these dimensions are, I want to add, at the minimum, obviously you need to at least hit those dimensions. On the height specifically, I always want to add an inch. So if this is saying 7 3/4, I want to assume bare minimum 8 to 9 inches on my height. For the width and diameter, usually, you know, that's not the end of the world. You know, the width specifically you want to pay attention to, with it being 28 inches. That would mean, you know, whenever you're looking at this, obviously this one here will not work. Obviously this one here probably won't work based on how it looks. By the way, that type of one almost never needs caged up, so I don't know why they caged it. Let's see. We can do it like this. We can even type in 9 by, what was that, 26 inch? Most of them are 26. 28. That's right, 28. 9 by 28. And then from there, this is a very common site that people will get these from. So I'll click on theirs and see what their pricing is. So you go to roof, attic, vent covers. And then from there, see all these different sizes they got? So for example, this is the one you'd probably, that's a really big one. Why is it 12 inches tall? Doesn't even need to be that big. And that's my other problem with a lot of these, is they make them just overly big for no reason. Like, you don't, like, you all saw mine. That's funny. They sell them just like how I make them too, even. So let's actually click on this one, because this one's actually pretty close to what we need. It's not what we need though, because why? 28 inches. It's not even big enough. But we can just look at it for an example, because it is pretty close. And this is why at the end of the day, we just make our own. But let's say, you know, let's just say we wanted this one. So it's $48. Tip. My cousin bought these same ones. They don't even come put together. They come in the pieces, to where all you need to do is either, as you can see, they used hog rings specifically, like for this picture. They don't even come put together, is my point. You have to actually put these together. Yeah, see, look right there. Clips and rings not included. So you're paying for it to be, you know, cut to what you need. Well, in that case, not even what we need, right? Because we were saying we need like 27 to 28 inches. On the height side, what, you know, 8 to 9. I mean, that 10 inches would work. Like, I'd rather have too much than not enough, right? But we need ideally, you know, 27 or 28 by 27, 28. Not even big enough, but doesn't even come put together. And this, by the way, is the best price you're going to find on these guys. Because, you know, if you go back to the other ones, now I do like their white caps. I do order these pretty often. The ones that are like $8. They used to be like $5. But, yeah, we like getting these. Where's the other one? That was a good example. You know, most of these are going to be about in line with this price here. 60 to 70. I've seen some even in the 100+ range. Like I said, if you're gonna buy them, this is the best website. I'll even post it in the chat here for you guys. Go over here to the chat, just so you guys have nothing else if you want to bookmark that website, because like I said, we do purchase stuff from them. It mostly, for the most part, it's just these guys. I like these little caps. These just go over those PVC vents that we were talking about in the video that I uploaded earlier this week. I'm shocked that that's not 28 by 28 and that this isn't 16 by 16 by 6. That doesn't even make sense to me. These measurements aren't really good for either of them. But, you know, that's why at the end of the day, speaking of, you know, websites, if you're needing a website to actually build yours, we tend to use Critter Fence. We're not affiliated with them or anything like that. Y'all can hit them up and tell me, hey, get this dude an affiliate link if you wish. I'll copy. This is the exact roll that I just purchased. Some more. Post that in there for you guys as well. This is actually the exact roll that I just bought recently. Now, I will say there's pluses and minuses to each one, because they have the 1/4 inch one and then they got a 1/2 inch one. The 1/2 inch one, it's a lot more, how do I say? Like, sturdy, I guess. You know, if we go back to that wildlife supply one, show you guys kind of the difference. So these are made with 1/2 inch gaps, which if you think how I think, I'm like, but you know, technically mice and shit, they can get in through anything larger than about a 1/4 inch gap, right? So that is why I went ahead and purchased the 1/4 inch roll. Some people don't like the 1/4 inch roll because it feels, you know, kind of flimsier. It's not though. It's still the same amount of oh, what is it? Gauging in terms of the metal that it's made out of. Like it's the same exact stuff, just different measurements of the little gaps. If we go back here, let me see if I can. Guess I'm gonna have to type it in again for you guys. Let's see. So like this one here, like we said, 1/4 inch. If you look at it here, 17 gauge coating, 17 gauge after quoting, 20 gauge before, you know, before, where if we, oops, I think I just clicked on the wrong thing. Forgot which tab it is. Let me see. Because they have, I'm trying to find the 1/2 inch one for you guys as well. Here, we'll just do this. We'll copy and paste it. And we'll type in 1/2 inch instead of 1/4. Sometimes on these websites, you got to poke around a little bit. So see, here's the 1/2 inch one. Speaking of which, when you're looking at them, the best one to get, in my opinion, is the one that says 3x. I've ordered 4x before. With the 4x, you tend to have a lot more wasted material. If nothing else, you can make brackets and stuff out of it for your cages, but you're gonna have a lot of waste using the 4x100. So we tend to go with 3x100, 3x50, things of that nature. But you know, you could easily go with this one here. Like we said, I mean, I have plenty of cages out in the field that are made with this, and they do just fine. And some people actually prefer it because, like I said, they think that, you know, it's going to do a better job. But, you know, it's all about preference at the end of the day. Me personally, I don't even necessarily have a preference. I just kind of go with, you know, whichever one is cheaper, what's going to get here sooner. As you can see, you know, it's actually about the same. Wait a minute. 149 for 100 feet. Did I just screw myself? Oh, bro. So, yeah, if I could do it over, I would have got the 1/2 inch. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Because you would have got double for $10 less. Damn, I can't believe I did that. But that's why you don't order stuff at 11:30 at night when you're getting tired either. But like I said, I mean, both will work. It'll come down to a preference more than anything. If you prefer the 1/2 inch, go with the 1/2 inch. If you prefer a quarter, go with quarter. Like I said, from a logical standpoint, the 1/4 inch should be better because, you know, tighter gap, right? Nothing's going to be able to squeak in through there. Or with the 1/2 inch, you start to, you know, potentially risk it with like mice and things like that. But like I said, guys, we got ones with 1/2 inch all over the Metroplex down here in Dallas, and we don't have any issues. I know we kind of went off on a tangent there a little bit, but my whole point with that, where was I even going with that? My whole point is, you know, it comes out to be much cheaper and better in terms of the product to build your own because, you know, you're gonna get, even with this 50-foot roll, I'm probably gonna get approximately, just off the top of my head, probably 20 cages out of that. So, you know, on the low end, so you're talking what, less than what, $7 a cage roughly, if not less, you know, And if you buy that big roll, like I was talking about, you're looking at even less. You're talking like $3 per roll or per cage. And of course, you know, you got your cost of either your UV resistant zip ties, or if you're going to use hog rings. But either way, you're talking right around $5 per cage compared to, you know, what were we looking at? Like at the lowest 40 to 50 bucks, upwards of 60 to $70 per cage. You know, we're getting much more profit on those cages that we make for sure. Let's see. Yeah, the exclusion video is awesome. Loved your exclusion video. Love service video. Yeah, no, it's good to hear. I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, apparently a lot of people are liking that video because it's up to almost, last I checked, like 1,900 views already. And yeah, I mean, if you guys want more videos like that, I'll definitely post them. And that reminds me why I was looking at cages and stuff, because I need to do the video of making a cage for you guys, which I'll be able to actually shoot that pretty soon because I have another exclusion job coming up the week of Valentine's Day. So what, about a week and a half from now, just after the Super Bowl, where all I need is one cage, but that'll give me a good opportunity to walk you guys through, you know, how we do the measurements, what we use to cut it with, how we, you know, use our UV resistant zip ties to, you know, get it all tightened up the way that it needs to be, making the brackets, mounting the brackets, just kind of like a start to finish type of video, at least in terms of making it. I don't think I'm gonna shoot like actually the installation of it because I already did that in that exclusion video that we were talking about, but I'll at least walk you guys through the process of like from start to finish how to create that. So yeah, no, I'll definitely make sure to do that for you guys coming up soon. Where is a good place to buy chemicals? We primarily use Viserys. However, one of my customers actually works for another chemical supplier in Greenville, Texas, which is about an hour from us. Who said, you know, he's like a pretty high up manager there, and he said that he could get us some pretty good deals apparently. So I forget the name of them off the top of my head. I've never used them yet, so I'm not even going to mention them right now. If we end up using them and liking them, I'll definitely, you know, one, remember their name, but two, make sure to shout them out for you guys. But Viserys is who we pretty much use. Lucky for us, we have, you know, like 2 or 3 in DFW. I go to one in Garland, Texas specifically. They're actually not too far from, oh, what is that company I referred you guys to? Pesco Pumps. They're literally like 5 minutes from them, and their pricing really isn't too bad. You know, even online, the pricing is not too bad. We at least use the online to get an idea of what to expect to spend. You know, let's say you need some Termidor HE, for example. So, of course, I did not know they have a 2.5 gallon jug now. Did not know that. Doesn't even look like a good deal. Let's see, 2.5 gallon jug. Oh, for a case of 2. I was gonna say that's not even a good deal, but okay, that makes sense, I guess. Let's see. Let's say you wanted to get, you know, this is what most people would get, just a 79 ounce. If you're gonna get, you know, one, wow, the price got increased again. I remember this stuff used to be under $200. Now it's $225 plus tax. Insane. But yeah, that's who we primarily use. Now, keep in mind, whenever, of course, you're going to be buying like Termidor HE, Trelona, you have to show your proof that you are a certified applicator, licensed certified applicator. Otherwise, they won't. Is Trelona on sale? Usually, they only do that whenever like there's some kind of sale. Let me see. I don't need any right now, but no, it's not even on sale. It's actually gone up in price. Shocker. Yeah, I don't know. Usually that stuff will go on sale, what, during, I believe, April, if I recall. So if you're needing any products termite wise, wait till April. That's my little pro tip for you guys. Speaking of Trelona, I saw that they have like an auger bit now. But yeah, to answer the question, Viserys is definitely who we suggest, for the most part, right? I mean, we will shop around all the time. I mean, sometimes I can find a better deal at, what is it called? Target Supply Co. or something like that. Another one is is it BMI or BWI, something like that. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of them out there. At the end of the day, Viserys is who we tend to use for the most part, but occasionally, we'll go ahead and try someone else out. There's also a place literally just called the Pest Shop in Plano, Texas. It's actually someone that owns a pest control company who also happens to own a shop as well that he'll sell to, other companies, and he will compete with Viserys's pricing. If we're like in a little pinch where we're in that area and we need something real quick, sometimes we'll hop in there and grab something. But yeah, I would say about 90% of the time we'll just use Viserys. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not like super quote unquote loyal or anything. It's just Viserys usually has some of the best pricing. They have everything I need pretty much every single time. So they're reliable, they're pretty dang competitive on pricing, and they're super close to us on top of that. So yeah, that's pretty much who we use for that. But yeah, I wanted to, let me see, close out some of this stuff here. I wanted to go back to where we were talking about what states you guys are from to kind of break down for anyone that, specifically doesn't know what they need to do to kind of like get up and going. I believe most of you guys who shouted out where you are from have already started, or you're in the industry, like you kind of know what you need to do. But I'll go ahead and do Maryland as an example. That's where Aaron Tucker is from. Department of Agriculture. So you're all, regardless of what state you are from, to guys, you're going to want to just follow these same steps. You're going to want to type in whatever state you're going to be trying to work in, and then just Department of Agriculture. And then from there, you'll see what we do here in just a second. But it looks like Aaron asked a question too. What mice baits do you use? And have you ever used tracking powder? I have not used tracking powder. My grandpa did a long time ago. He kind of told me about it. For the most part, for mice specifically, I'll use contract all-weather blocks, I believe is what they're called, in the rodent bait stations. And then, of course, some old school snap traps never seem to fail with mice. I find that mice are, generally speaking, pretty dang easy to get a hold of. So yeah, like we said, we'll click on Maryland Department of Agriculture. And like I said too, guys, this is going to apply to pretty much any state that, that you're from. So every website too is going to be different. So see, you can see right here, theirs is on the left side here. It says license and permits. Let's see. I'm wondering if it's under certified lawn care professionals. And like I said, there we go, maybe pesticide. Some of these websites too, like I said, they're all going to be slightly different, but at the end of the day, if you go to your state's Department of Agriculture page and you poke around a little bit, sometimes like my Texas Department of Agriculture one, to actually get into the nitty gritty of each specific law, dude, it's like freaking pulling teeth trying to get into the actual laws. But in terms of, figuring out what you need to do, usually if you just poke around a little bit, you'll find, what you need to do. So this says here, the pesticide regulations section administers Maryland's pesticide applicators law, approves training courses, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. To find out more, please call pesticide regulation. So they don't provide a lot of information. So, I mean, if it gets too difficult too, they are very upfront about what number you need to call for more information. If you have issue with that, just call up that number. Like I said, most of these people, they're nice people. They have a relatively easy job. You just ask them whatever question you have. And let's see. Mm, licensing and certification information. So let's see. So here you go right here. Pesticide applicator certification and business licensing requirements. So then from there, pull it up. You got your little PDF. Private applicator, that's not us. Commercial applicator, here we go. So, licensing. In order to obtain a pesticide business license, a firm must complete an application obtained by MDA, Maryland Department of Agriculture, designate at least one person as a certified pest control applicator in the categories which they are providing pest control service. 150, man, that's cheap. Ours is like 400, or what is ours? Ours is well over 150. Pay a 150 annual business license fee. Provide proof of general liability insurance for bodily injury as well as property damage, which these are pretty standard for every state. Certification. In order to become a certified pest control applicator, an individual must be at least 18 years old. Have at least 1 year of practical pesticide application experience as a registered employee in the categories. A degree in a biological field such as biology, botany, I'm bad at pronouncing shit. All this type of stuff may qualify as, experience. Certain approved courses. See, the approved initial certification courses document will be accepted as well. So that might be another route that some of you guys may want to go is, look at that and see what type of courses versus, either A, working for somebody for a full year. If you want to bypass that and you want to bypass 2 to 4 years of college plus the cost, you may want to look at their approved initial certification courses, because if it's cheaper, doesn't take as much time, you can definitely speed up your process for sure. The individual must pass the examinations, that's pretty standard. Let's see. Of course, you must pass with a 70% or higher. Recertification. Maryland requires all certified applicators to attend recertification training each year, which that is something to pay attention to. I know where my cousin is in Missouri, it's every 3 years. Here in Texas, it's every year as well. Looks like in Maryland, it's every year as well. I'm interested, though. Training does not have to be held in Maryland. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. So, oh, so they have some that are on an annual basis, and then some that are on an every 3 year basis. That's kind of confusing, not gonna lie. Ours is pretty straightforward. It's just every year. Every year you gotta do yours. Let's see. In order to meet minimum business license, permit, applicator renewal. Of course, you have to renew it every year. If you ever have a question about it, call them. Which, if you're in Maryland, I would just save this number in your phone. That's what I do. I got Texas Department of Agriculture saved in my phone. That way, if I move, whatever the case may be, I just call them up, say, hey, we moved, or hey, we hired an employee. They'll send you an email with whatever you need to do, whatever paperwork you need to fill out. Always, whatever your Department of Agriculture is, just save their phone number, just because you never know when you're going to need it, right? Not for hire, that doesn't matter for us. Dealer permit. I'm looking at possibly doing dealer permit here in Texas. But yeah, look how easy it was just then to find that, guys. Like, we found all the information that we needed just by poking around on the website for what, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. You know, from there, of course, you have your forms. Like, this is literally all of the stuff that you need right here. That was what, 1, 2, 3 pages deep into the website. Nothing crazy, and we found quite literally everything that you need. Like I said, you know, most of these states, they're very easy to find the information on. You know, I'm always on our Texas Department of Agriculture one, so I know it's a, you know, let's say you just pulled up Texas Department of Agriculture website. This is the home page. From there, most common one you're going to need to do is licenses and regulations. And then from there, education and training. Those are the 2 ones here in Texas that you're going to use for the most part. You know, you have your rules and statutes. Like I said, trying to find specific laws in Texas. It's like pulling teeth. You have to go through 4 or 5 different, you know, headings, different pages and stuff. It's like pulling teeth. But, you know, e-apply. This is what you'd use to actually fill out your information to apply for whatever you're applying for. You know, commercial business application. You can do it right here online. Super easy. Takes a few minutes. You have to, you know, submit your money before they'll even look at your application, which is kind of fucked up, by the way. Because, like, if you get declined, like, you don't get your money back. Sorry. And that's really how it is, too. You don't get your money back. So make sure you have everything in order before you apply. Education and training, of course. This is going to be where you will, you know, get your pesticide training and your exam information, different providers, you know, all the good stuff. Like I said, every state, the websites are going to be different, but at the end of the day, it's all relatively easy. You just got to poke around a little bit, and heaven forbid, you know, you just get too confused and, you know, you're like, man, what do I do? Just, you know, contact, in this case, 1-800-TEL TDA. That's not the number you want to call. That's the number you call when somebody's doing some shit they're not supposed to. You know, at least get to the page where, you know, you're what am I trying to say here? Where you're at least in a relative area of where you need to be, because usually there will be a separate phone number for different types of things. Like, let's say, you know, you're having issues with like CEU stuff, which CEU stuff is very easy. You know, CEU FAQ. Let's go in here. I was hoping they I know they got another phone number on here, man. Where's that damn phone number at? Because I got it. I got the number. And it's not that 1-800 bullshit. Let me see. I'll tell you all straight up, Texas has one of the most confusing Department of Agriculture websites out of all of them. That one in Maryland, that was hella easy compared to ours in Texas. Let's see. Still no phone number. I mean, like we said, you have that 1-800 number, but I'm like positive. I'll just do it this way. We'll just pull it up right here. Because like I said, I got the number. I just got a TDA. There we go. So yeah, see, the number I have is 877-542-2474. So that number is somewhere on this damn website, because that's where I got the number from. And that is specifically for the pest control side of things. Right there. TDA licensing number. So, yeah, I don't know why it's so hard to find right now. But, like I said, usually, I'm so hell-bent on finding this for you guys. Here we go. There we go. Just had to look a little harder. There's that number. What'd I say? 877-542-2474. So, if you're in Texas, there's your number right there. If you have any questions, you call them up directly. I believe they only work Monday through Friday. Like, you know, standard business hours, I think 8 to 4. I think 8 to 4, maybe 8 to 5. But everyone I've talked to there is super helpful. They're not like rude people or anything like that. They'll usually email you, you know, different forms based on things you talked about to help you out too, things of that nature. Shout out GT. What's up? What's up? Faro Pest Control. Do you have service contracts? Just the ones that are on GorillaDesk right now. I'm probably gonna kind of tweak them at some point when I'm done being a cheapo and upload my own. Like I said, they're, if I recall, either 35 or 95, something dollars to upload your own. I did just hear from somebody in another pest control group though that if you have just some minor tweaks apparently that you want to make to their contract, if you chat with their support, a lot of times they will edit that just for you and do it for free. I don't know how true that is or not. Like I said, that was just someone on, I forget which group it was. It may have been Pest Control Professionals, maybe Bug Bucks. I'm not 100% positive, but they said that, they hit up GorillaDesk's support team, just needed a couple things changed on the contract to, fit their company. And they said GorillaDesk did that for them for free, which is definitely better than, of course, going through the process of uploading your entire own contract and having to pay a fee. Now, it is just a one-time fee, not the end of the world, not something you're having to pay for on a continual basis or anything, but it is something that, something you'd want to do. Aaron Tucker said, I just sent them my business license application and fees last Friday. Yeah, man, 150. I take 150 all day. I mean, you saw just the application there was $300, I think. I forget what I pay for a year. I think for my business license and my pest control and termite license combined, it's like $525 per year. And then of course each technician you add after that, you got money that you got to pay for that as well. So fun stuff, right? And then coincidentally, of course, my pest control business insurance comes out the same time. November, December are expensive months at Preferred Pest Management, let me tell you. Let's see. Washington is confusing too for the Department of Agriculture. Yeah, let's look up Washington real quick for the people in Washington. Washington Department of Agriculture. Yeah, Washington. I mean, if it's ran by Washington state government, I mean, y'all got some loonies out there in Washington, boys. I can only imagine how their Department of Agriculture website is. Now, I do like that they have these, there's a specific term for it. I think they call them crumbs or something like that, where pretty much, the most common different things, pages of the website are listed out. So, instead of going through their whole website, pesticide license, let's see what that's about. We'll just go right into there. So, pesticide and SPI licensing and recertification. So, you have your recertification there. Then you got learn more about it here. So, I'm assuming this is kind of their main number for the pest control side of things, more than likely, versus their, standard quote unquote 1-800. I know up there in Washington, I think the standard number is at 360. Search for a license. What license do I need? Renew a license. I mean, I like how that's at least laid out. If nothing else, more about taking exams. I don't know what the hell, CAS or SPI. That must be somebody that does the okay, so this is actually what you need right here. Let's see. Commercial applicator, engage in business. So yeah, this is what we need. What is structural? What is SPI? Who inspects a structure? Oh, so they have a separate license for doing WDIs? Just another reason not to do them if you're in Washington. Let's see. I hate doing WDIs. I haven't done a WDI in like 2 years. It's just not worth the time, headache, money. So to become a licensed applicator, let's see. So you have the $250 fee, $27 fee for each. Wait, what? Application fees is also mean. Oh, okay. So for taking the exam. Okay. Submit proof of financial responsibility. Oh, insurance. Yeah. Obtain your business license, which you would go over to the Department of Revenue to do. What the fuck? Let's see. Insurance requirements. Gotta submit your proof, of course. Usually the insurance provider will send that for you if you get a good insurance provider. Once you are licensed, you must. Better go by that or you'll be out of business. Renew it annually. Yeah, they say 30 days. Here in Texas, they're just like, just please let us know. Like, it's 30 days, but just let us know. Like, my God. Let's see. Address, equipment. Equipment? You have to, like, list your equipment? Notify WSDA, Washington State Department of Agriculture, of any changes to your application within 30 days. Let me look at this form. What is it talking about? Equipment. Oh. Wait, what? Dude, that's stupid. So, wait a minute. Is this for lawn then? Ground, fumigation. Number and size of tanks. So would that be referring to our, you know, like our skid sprayers? Like say you have a 50-gallon one. Do you have to put on there like this type of stuff? Like, if so, that is extra. My God. Liberalism. I'm not going to go there. Might piss some people off. Your DBA is low key. Yeah, all that makes sense. But something about that whole equipment thing just doesn't make sense to me. Let's see. Equipment such as 100-gallon tanks need to be licensed. Wow. Gotta love big old daddy government, right? Yeah, I mean, let's see. Oh, in terms of actually, so we went over what you need to do. Let's see how you actually. So there's your commercial applicator license application form. Can't believe you have to like, so what, you have to like fill it out and then send it via email, I guess, because they don't have it where you can actually, you know, like on the one for Texas, you fill it out right there and submit it. Oops, damn it, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back. So do that. Yeah, no, I mean, it seems pretty straightforward. Some of it seems kind of over the top, in my opinion, but I can only imagine what Looney, California's looks like. But yeah, no, it wasn't too bad in terms of the website, but I think it definitely helped that whenever like we just searched it up, that it was right here, because I wouldn't be surprised. Let's go to like the home page and see how hard it is to find it. Departments, pesticide and fertilizer, probably. You have forms right there too. Oh no, that's pesticide registration. Okay. Forms. Well, they have all the forms where you need them at least all in one spot. But we're still trying to get back to where we were. Is it services? Education and training. That'd be, I guess, for your CEUs. There we go. Licensing and permits. Pesticide license and recertification. Then you got your recertification and you know where we were. There we go. Wasn't too bad. Could be easier, but yeah, something about these damn Department of Agriculture websites, like they can't just make it super easy. if it is mounted to the trucks. Yeah, ours is mounted to our truck. For applicators, that was a question I have. Called the Department of Agriculture to find that out. Yeah, I mean, that just kind of seems over the top to me that they make you all do that in Washington. But yeah, I mean, every state's got their own little quirkiness too at the end of the day. Like they've all got their little thing, so to speak. Just like Texas, Texas doesn't recognize a lot of states in terms of, like you'd have to actually go through the entire process from scratch, where a lot of states, if you're a neighboring state, they will accept that license, you just kind of like transfer it or, whatever, you just pay your fees and whatnot, essentially. But yeah, no. Yeah, so today we looked at what? Maryland, Texas, and Washington. We looked at like 3 of them for you guys so far. Before I end the stream, I wanted to give you guys like a quick little Google Ads update because, of course, when we're talking about starting a pest control business and growing a pest control business, one of the main things that goes into that is Google Ads, right? This is our stuff for today this is just for that ad group. Let's look at all of them. So far today, we got 22 impressions, no clicks, no costs, which I will say this week, our ads have been dead in terms of cost, clicks, all that stuff. And, I'll break it down for you guys. We'll just look at like this week, I guess. We'll do, guess we can just do a custom. January 28th into, yeah, so this week, right? All right. So over the last 7 days, right? Or no, that's not what I was wanting to do, damn it. 28th through the 3rd. Oh, you know what? I actually need to reload this because it's showing that it's still Saturday. I was like, why is it not letting me pick the 4th? Because I had this loaded up last night looking at some stuff. Come on. And of course, if you have any questions, now that we're starting to kind of dive into the Google Ads side of it real quick, if you have any questions about Google Ads or anything, feel free to shout it out in the chat. So we'll go down here to the 4th, apply. So apparently, oh, that did come from our Google ad. Did that register as a I don't think it registered as a freaking conversion though. Damn it. I gotta figure out what's going on with our conversion tracking. But as you can see, our cost per click has dropped considerably this past week. We were paying upwards of 20, 25, 30, sometimes even 30 plus in some cases per click. We're paying what, like $14.50 per click so far this past week. 238 impressions, 5 clicks, total cost of the week of just 72 bucks. Now, there is some things going on right now. Of course, one, it's kind of a dead season right now. We're not running really a, rodent control ad or anything like that. We got a couple, like a bed bug campaign, of course, that we've been running since the beginning of January. And we have our pest control campaign with a few ad groups in there that we've been running for, about 2 or 3 months now. Coming up on 3 months, as a matter of fact. And our cost per click has gone down considerably. There's some things that go into that. One being that, if we actually go in here, we'll just take a look at our campaign about get your first service for free. And then from there, we'll just select this ad group here, our general pest control ad group. So what an ad group is, again, for those of you that don't know a whole lot about like Google Ads, you might be wondering like what's the difference between a campaign and an ad group. The campaign is, in short, your main deal, right? Like say, for example, our main deal is, quote unquote, get your first pest control service for free. Now your ad group is going to be what you're actually like targeting, if that makes sense. So for example, we know a lot of people are typing in things about carpenter ant treatment. So we have a carpenter ant ad group. We know people are always, of course, typing in stuff about commercial pest control. So we have a commercial pest control ad group. You know, black ants and just ant control in general. So we have an ad group for each of those. And then, of course, we have our broader general pest control ad group, which is going to be kind of a little bit of everything, right? Just like pest control, like the broader search terms, like pest control near me, exterminator, you know, whatever city they live in, you know, just kind of those broader search terms. So we have an ad group for that. And then, of course, we got like a termite control one as well. But we're just going to focus on specifically this general pest control one. Because it, of course, being the ad group within the campaign that has the most volume, because like we said, it's more of those broad terms like just pest control near me, exterminator, you know, all that type of stuff. We'll take a look at it real quick. So this is just on the last week. What we have really kind of changed here, if we go into search keywords, we have edited our keywords big time. One, we finally figured out Google hides it, and I'm going to show you guys here in a second how to find it and how to do this yourself. Google tries to make it very difficult for you to edit your keywords in terms of your max bid strategy that you're using. And the funny thing too is like, don't pay a god awful a lot of attention to what they're saying about, you know, your budget being like limited or things like that, because a lot of times, I mean, I'll show you guys here in a second why that doesn't matter, but just know that that doesn't really matter. As you can see, you know, we changed up from doing just exact match to we're testing it out right now, doing some phrase match. And what do you notice? And we just made this change this week. We set a max cost per click with that at $20, but look at our first click this week so far, $12.68. That's not bad at all in terms of a cost per click, because you know, the more that Google likes your ad and sees that, you know, you're, you know, maximizing, you know, the headlines that you're using, the description, this and that and the other, you know, focusing on that there's like a little percentage and what else? You know, the whole rating scale where it says poor, average, good, excellent, something like that. You want to be at least at roughly that average or good rating. Excellent is going to be pretty hard to achieve, but if you can at least be at like average or good, your cost per click is going to go down. And I will say, whenever you switch from exact match on everything to phrase match, you have to pay attention a lot more. You can see we've added a lot of negative keywords already. You know, this is like just from this last week alone. You can see here some of them we just quite literally just said, hey, broad match anything, because there's a company down here called ABC, like Pest Control, something like that. I forget their exact name, but I was like, hey, you know, anything with the word ABC or Ace, like Ace Hardware, like that type of thing. We were showing up for some searches like that. So I was like, you know, anything showing up with that at all, just broad match it. You know, anything that shows up for that, we do not want to show up for, right? So it's a broad match, negative keyword. You're definitely gonna have a lot more work up front with going that route, but like we said, Google's gonna reward you with a much lower cost per click, because our cost per click before doing phrase match and doing exact match was like 2 to 3x, which obviously is just gonna kind of constrain your ad budget to a large degree. And you can see we're still getting a good amount of impressions too, which again, this just kind of goes to show, you know, what is it saying here? It's saying, you know, your ad isn't showing as much as it could be. You know, your budget is kind of limited because we have it set at $20 when it should be set at 21 or whatever. But we're still getting a considerable amount of impressions. Now, we do want to work on the CTR a little bit. That's where, you know, we're going to continue to set up different ads and do like A to B testing with different headlines, different descriptions, maybe even a different offer, maybe different landing page. You know, that's where you know, once you get everything kind of set up from there, you can start doing more testing, A to B test, all that type of stuff. Um, when it comes to your campaigns and your ad groups, that is specifically. And what I was referring to here, we'll do two things real quick on the Google Ads side of things. I'm going to show you guys how to actually make it to where you can set your own bid, you know, your own max bid for each keyword, because like I said, Google will hide that from you to a certain degree. And then, which is shout out to again Michelle Kopp. She taught me this on, I think it's actually going to be in the video that she's going to upload whenever she interviewed me this past week. If not, then either way, you guys are going to kind of get a little preview into that, if nothing else. She showed me how to do this because I was like, I can't set a max cost per bid, like per keyword. She was like, what do you mean? Yeah, you can. And I was like, what? Like, how? I thought they took it away or something because I can't do it now. And what you do is, you know, we'll go into, we're just going to go back to kind of the home page of Google Ads. So, you know, you're going to have to select the campaign you want to do it for. And the other thing is you can't do it per ad group. You have to do it per campaign. So what you do is you go in here to campaign settings. Once it decides to load up here. How's it going there? Bug out, termite, and pest control. While it's loading here, I'll read this comment. Just did a mosquito commercial. I'm going to feel the waters on Facebook with it. Haven't hit Google Ads yet. Really need to though. Yeah, no, definitely let us know how the Facebook ad goes as well, because we just never really had a whole lot of success ever really with Facebook ads. I think it's really good for, you know, because the cost per clicks are very minimal and things like that. If nothing else, it's good for brand awareness, just getting your brand out there for people to see, know, remember, things of that nature. And then I like Google Ads for, you know, actual legit lead generation, personally. So what you're going to do is, so whenever you load up, and this was the little optimization score we were kind of referring to, you know, the better this is, the lower your cost per click is going to be from my experience. The other thing, and again, don't focus on it too much. I've even mentioned this in the past in other videos from like a year or even 2 years ago. You don't want to focus so much on, like, don't try to get this to 100, guys. Like, if you can have this in the 70s, 80s, or even low 90s, I think my bedbug campaign's at like 91, as a matter of fact. If you can keep this at least around like upper 70s on up, you're doing just fine. Like, don't lose sleep over this or anything like that. But I do find the higher it is, generally speaking, cost per click will come down a little bit. But back to the whole setting your budget. So obviously you have your basic budget. Now, you will not see it like this at first because we have it set on manual CPC right now. So what will happen is usually you're going to be set up on one of these automated bidding strategies. Like you just say maximize clicks, right? You know, and then you just say, of course, set a maximum cost per click bid limit. And then, you know, you can say, you know, $15, for example, right? So from here, this is, like I said, this is generally speaking what it's going to kind of look like. This is not even going to show. It's only showing because I selected that I wanted to see it. From there, there will be, what does it say? It'll show something similar to this, but instead of saying get guidance selecting a bidding strategy, it'll say like other bidding strategies not recommended. Of course, they're not recommending it because, you know, it's not good for Google in a sense that, you know, you're in full control of what you're paying for these keywords at the end of the day. But, you know, you'd select that and then you'd select manual CPC. Don't worry about selecting help increase conversions with enhanced CPC because, you know, one, it's just not that big of a deal. But two, until, like I mentioned in other streams and videos about Google Ads, until you get at least like 30 conversions in a, you know, roughly 1 to 2 month period, you know, enough conversions for Google to have an idea of, you know, how your conversions work and things of that nature, this isn't really going to help you at all. So you do manual CPC, then you'd hit save. I don't need to even mess with any of this because it's already set as that. And then from there, you're in your campaign, you select which ad group you actually want to, adjust your bids on. Let's say we want to adjust our termite bid, right? Because the default is going to be 1 penny, right? Obviously, you're not going to get any clicks bidding 1 penny on, well, really any keyword, regardless of what industry you're in. But from there, we go over here to search keywords. And then as you can see, we've already kind of set ours up. But literally you just go in here and just edit whatever you want to leave your max CPC at, and then just save it and, move on from there. See, like I can see right now, we have a pretty good CTR. Well, I mean, we've only had 14 impressions so far too. So like our cost per click is only $12.48. Again, Google's telling us that, oh, your ad isn't showing now. Your ad has a low ad rank for this search. Just total bullshit, right? It's just hilarious because let's see. If we actually go in here and let's see, is it in my assets? No, the campaign. It's either campaigns or ads. So yeah, look at that. The optimization score is 83%. So a lot of times it'll try and tell you, oh, your ad's not showing for this right now. Bullshit. It obviously is. We're getting impressions on it. Our score is good. And plus it does say eligible limited. So why it's saying an ad isn't showing right now, like whatever, doesn't really matter. And like we were saying in terms of their whole, your bid is below the first page bid, like, okay, well then if it's so low, then how come you're giving us a CPC that's even lower than what our max CPC is? Like, and then on top of that, because some people say, well, yeah, you may be paying that, but again, you're not getting to that first page. Okay, well, let's go ahead and see about that. We can go over here to Insights and Reports. Auction Insights. Oh, looky there. Average top of the page. Oops, where we go? What do we do here? Just messed it all up. Where am I at? Let's try this again. Auction Insights. So what is it doing it based off of? It's doing it based on the minimum. So we are kind of right in the middle right now. Top of the page rate, 79% of the time. The percent of the time we're at the absolute top of the page, meaning you are like the very first thing at the top. We're still there over 1/3 of the time. Now, I do want this to be higher. Ideally, we want this to be at least at 50%. Like you see Terminex here, 51%. Allsafe, whew, they are overpaying, I can tell. 91%, 91%. Outshanking. Well, so outranking share just means how often, your ad. So like it says right here, outranking share is how often your ad ranked higher in the auction than other advertisers' ad, or if your ad showed when theirs did not. So this shows that roughly, 1/3 of the time, if not a little bit more often, we are actually outranking them. The position above rate is how often another advertiser's ad in the same auction shows in a higher position than your own when both of your ads were shown at the same time. So I know that probably might sound a little confusing and even contradictory, but let me try to break it down for you guys. So this is saying, so outranking share is pretty much saying, how do I explain it? Like in layman terms, like just easy to understand. This is pretty much how often your ad either ranked higher, right? Got myself confused now because I want to make sure I'm explaining it right, but in an easy way for you guys, because like I said, they can get kind of confusing. So let's start with this one because it's actually easier to break down. So this is pretty much saying when both your ads are showing at the same time, right? Like let's say someone types in pest control, right? There's never just one ad that shows, right? There's usually two, maybe even three at the top. Then you scroll down a little bit. There's usually at least another two at the bottom, right? You know, there's ads all throughout the search, right? This is saying whenever you both are showing at the same time, how often another advertiser's, so let's say in this example, this safepropest.com, when me and them are showing at the same time, they are ranking ahead of me 100% of the time. That means they're gonna be number one, I'm number two, or they're number two, I'm number three. Regardless, when we're showing at the same time, which is only 5% of the time, by the way, so I'm not too overly concerned about it. That's 1 in 20 times. Because look at who is getting the majority of the impression share at the end of the day. We are kicking ass, which is what I care about the most, the impression share. Because obviously if they don't see you, it doesn't really matter where you're ranking at the end of the day, right? But whenever we are showing at the same time, they are outranking us each time, is what that means. Where outranking share means how often your ad personally, is ranking higher than them, even when their ad like just isn't showing at all. Like this number here isn't really as important to me. The most important ones that I pay attention to is impression share, how often we're at the top of the page, and how often we're at the absolute top of the page. I'm not so worried about, I do like to see the overlap rate in terms of like how often am I showing up with my competitors. When I see that, hey, we're showing up with the Terminexes of the world the most, that lets me know, because who has the best ad budget to spend on good marketing, right? In terms of setting up their campaigns the right way. Terminex, Orkin, etc., right? So when I see that, hey, we are literally overlapping with Terminex most of the time, that lets me know that, we're doing what we need to be doing, right? And even our top of page, we're pretty close to them as well. Absolute top of page. Like I said, I would like this to be higher, at least 45 to 50% ideally. But again, this is just for our termite. The most important one for us is this GPC ad. This one here, you can see here on impression share, we're again leading the race. Overlap rate, again, up there with Terminex, national company. We like that. Absolute top of page, a little bit lower, 66%. Absolute top of, or not absolute, or yeah, top of page, meaning, that like top two, essentially. 66% of the time. Absolute top of page rate, very low. I don't like that it's at 34, 35%. I want that, again, to be at least at 45. Now, this is more of a broader, again, the GPC ad group is a lot more broad. So as we're dialing it in terms of continuing to add negative keywords and things of that nature, this is already going to naturally increase as time goes on. But I probably want to go in. This is where now we have enough data to where I can go in and start maybe increasing my cost per click that I'm willing to pay for some other keywords, because we do want this to be ideally, again, me personally, I want this to be at the minimum in the 40s, ideally right around 50%, if not more. This company being like these mofos are paying a lot for their clicks like that. I mean, there's a reason too that their impression share is very low. Anytime I see impression share less than 10%, it means one of two, maybe three things. One, not enough ad budget, obviously. You could have a very well optimized ad, but your ad budget is so constrained, which means, they're pushing you to the top, but you're getting clicks so quickly that, your budget's being hit immediately, right? So it very well could be that, but it could also be, oh my gosh, what's the other big one? Oh my gosh, I'm like having a total brain fart right now. That's the main one though, is going to be your budget constraint. The other is generally going to be, my gosh, I cannot believe I'm just having a total, it's on the tip of my tongue and I'm just brain farting right now on it. The other one is going to be ad optimization. There we go. Ad optimization. But like I said, most of the time it's going to be just budget constraints more than anything, which is what makes it so weird. Like this here, this tells me Orkin's ad is not optimized at all. Because we know that obviously ad budget is not going to be their problem. However, the fact that they're not even doing well in terms of absolute top of page rate, I mean, technically they could be bidding too low on the keywords, right? So it may not be that their budget's an issue. Obviously, we know Orkin, they're not going to have a low budget, right? Big national company, but they could be bidding too low on the keywords, which again, I doubt, because, you know, again, big national company, right? So what would that mean? That means that the ad is not optimized whatsoever. They're probably sitting around that poor ranking, which again would be a surprise, but you know, all it takes is hiring the wrong people to manage your campaigns and your ads, and that's what can happen to you. So yeah, that's kind of where we are at right now. We're starting to really collect some data. I'll be analyzing this throughout the week and adjusting keyword max bids that I'm willing to pay, may even remove some keywords, may add in some new ones. You know, again, hard to say right now, but just wanted to give you guys kind of a breakdown on, you know, what we're looking at so far. To my knowledge, unless if that call that just came in, let's go back to overview here, because we did get a click from that today, right? Unless if that click from today was the phone call that came in. Let's see, when did that come in? 1 to 2 p. That might have been what that was. When did that come in? And again, that would mean something's going on with my conversion track. So that was at 1:11 p.m. because it was like right after we started the stream. That means if it did in fact come from that, that means something's going on with the conversion tracking, because it's not showing up as a conversion, right? Yeah, it's not showing up as a conversion, but it may not be, because like I said, this says here we have a dead squirrel this is what they said, they text us. Hi, we have a dead squirrel that's stuck in our chimney and the smell's starting to take over the house. Not that we're gonna be able to do anything about that, but I doubt that they would type in pest control for that. I mean, they could, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't think that someone would type in, because this is exactly the search that this is what they typed in. Whoever ended up clicking on the ad, that is. So either way, yeah, we're still in the stage right now where we're collecting data, we're making adjustments. Our costs overall have gone down considerably, like I was showing you guys. I'll show you guys again just once more. We'll just show all campaigns. We'll show from January 1st till today, just to give you guys, man, get that shit off my screen. Do not mess with the quote unquote Google Ads expert or whatever, that the little deal that they're trying to get me to do. Like, don't bother. Like, they'll say they have a account specialist, I think is what they call them, and don't bother. They will mess your campaign up, guys. So like I said, you can see here, let's pull up cost. Average cost per click even. Let's just do that, not even cost. You can see our average cost per click. Look at that, $40, $28, $32, $29, $29. And I mean, we had some days where it was a little less, like 18, you know, 13. I think right around here is actually when we started editing, making some tweaks. Because yeah, I mean, I got to a point where I was like, dude, we were paying way too much for these clicks. I was like, well, that day where we hit 40, that was where I was like, dude, I'm done. I was like, I should not be spending $120 on 3 clicks. Like, that's ridiculous. And what was that day that we 31st? The 31st is when we had that interview with Michelle Kopp, which was right in here. And like I said, we made our edit somewhere back in here before that in terms of adding more phrase match, keywords, adding a lot more ad groups. We only had like 1 or 2 ad groups at the time. As you guys can see now, just in the pest control campaign alone, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running right now. We have 9 total technically. And then of course we got the ad group for the bedbug campaign as well. But as soon as we did that, what do you see here? Average cost per click, so much lower. Our highest day so far is what, like $18? Today we're up towards 16, 17, but for the most part, we're hovering, right around, I'd say $12 to $16 is kind of where we're hanging out, which I don't mind paying $12 to $16 per click whatsoever. Like we always talk about whenever we're talking about, your lead cost and things like that, your cost per acquisition. That's another thing that you guys have to be prepared for when doing Google Ads is, you're going to spend, what the hell? You're going to spend a lot of money early on. I say a lot of money, it depends what a lot of money is to you. To me, hundreds of dollars, that's a considerable amount of money. But once you get that ad dialed in, like let's just say we're paying an average of $15 per click. Let's say we get 10 clicks. That's $150. Let's say you get, 2 leads out of those clicks. That's $75 a lead. Like, that's not bad. To put in perspective, we talk about Google Local Services a lot on the channel. Google Local Services right now, depending on your area, from what I'm understanding, in my area, you're looking at $70 to $100 per lead right now on Google Local Services. Some areas it's still in like the 20s, I've heard, especially if you're doing more of like lawn care. I know I have a cousin in the Midwest that I mention on the channel from time to time. His specific, lawn care side of it, the leads are pretty cheap. They're as low as 15 to 25 bucks, but he even said the pest control ones are way more. They're like 40 bucks for him up there, where they were in the teens and 20s for the longest. They've gone up for sure. And like I said, for us, Google Local Services, one, it's dead AF. It's way over saturated at this point. And even when you do get a lead, it's like 75 to 100 bucks. So if we can get an average lead for 75 to 100 bucks or even less, ideally using Google Ads, once we get it dialed in, we won't complain about that at all. Average closing rate being around 50-60% on general pest control campaigns. Let's just say out of those 2 leads, you only close 1, you're talking $150 per acquisition. So, not too bad at all. And then of course, you have your bedbug campaign, which like I was telling Michelle Kopp earlier this week, I was like, the bedbug campaign, like, I mean, of course, like we want to get sales out of it, but we're willing to pay a lot more per acquisition just because obviously, it's a big ticket item. You get one sale and you pretty much covered your whole campaign cost for what, depending on what your budget is, 1 to 3 months. Now, of course, ideally you want to sell more than just one, right? But my whole point is, it's not that we're not paying attention to it or anything. We're just more so, not as like stressed out about the overall cost is right there. The overall cost of the campaign. So yeah, like in the last month, we spent a total of $436 on this campaign. We got only 1 bedbug sell, which, not too thrilled about, but that bedbug sells what, a $1,500 bedbug service. So even after that cost, which again I don't like, you know, we still came out after chemical costs, wear and tear, all that stuff. We definitely came out, you know, $1,000. Oh, well, of course, taxes too. So I guess about $800, we'll call it, of profit. So, you know, like we said, it funded the whole month of cost. We got the ad dialed in. You can see here we haven't gotten any clicks or anything, but that's also because we got this ad more dialed in. We're paying a lot less per click. If you actually looky there. I mean, we're still at the top big time on the auction insights. Let's look at our auction insights, by the way. Now, this is showing for the last month, by the way, so I'll show the week here in a second. But impression share 66%, top of page rate 85, absolute top of page 72. You know, that's not bad at all. You know, let's look at just this last week or so. I'm assuming it's changed. Definitely changed. Definitely changed. Yeah. 28%. So yeah, this is actually news to me. This explains why we aren't getting a lot of clicks, because we're not getting many impressions now. Let's actually hold on. Let's go back. I want to see that chart on impressions. Look at that optimization score. Ooh. Let's see. I want to go back to the chart, and this is literally how it goes, guys. This is this is what I do. What is going on? I want to look at the overview. This is literally what you do whenever you're looking at these campaigns. So let's go. Let's do that again. So don't even need to worry about showing that. Okay, so yeah, our impressions have dropped big time. So what that does tell me then is what we need to do. Let's see, go in here, search keywords. Okay. Let's see. None. How do I filter this? I guess I can, let's see. Ah, see? Well, we do still have impressions on that. 14. Not as much though. So let's go ahead. We're going to raise this one. We're going to raise this to $6. Which, by the way, that is a ridiculously low call. Like, something about bedbug. I hope I'm not like potentially shooting myself in the foot by even exposing this. Bedbug CPC, so cheap, so cheap. Let's see. So 0 on bedbug treatment near me. 0, 0, 0. We still got 27 on bedbug treatment. 0 on bedbug exterminator. Pull that up to 18. Since these are at 0, I'm not going to mess with them right now. What I'm going to do is actually take a look into my campaign here in a little bit. See if we need to make some headlines with these terms. Let's see. I'll actually do that for you guys right now. So what I'm talking about is we go into ads here. Let's see. Come on now. or no. So no, it's not. Okay. So we'll do bed bug exterminator. Get 95 off bed bug extermination. Get that out. If you guys are wondering what these little pins are, what you can do is say, like, okay, like this is obviously our lead magnet, right? $95 off. So we want that to show first whenever someone, sees our ad, right? So we pin it to where it will only show in position 1. You can do it with position 2, position 3, whatever you wish. A lot of times we'll leave it alone. Sometimes, if there's ones that, we just don't really think are going to perform that well, we may just put it at position 3. Or like I said, sometimes we'll even just leave it alone. A lot of times, people will search for like bed bug treatment and then, whatever city they're in or near me, something like that. So we want, of course, like this to show up first, ideally, and then the location after that. And then, for number 3, maybe something like lifetime warranty available, some kind of call out, call now, book now, award-winning service, whatever the case may be, right? Let's see, discover what we are the preferred bedbug treatment. I'm gonna edit that actually. Get 95 off your bedbug treatment today. Yeah, we're gonna do that actually. Let's see. Contact us for our site link. I don't know why it's saying our ad strength is poor though. Bedbug treatments. 95 off bed bug treatment. How many more headlines do we have? 3. Let's see. What else? Bedbug treatment within 24 hours. Get 95 off bedbug treatment. What else? 95 bedbug exterminator. Location. Oh, their search term. So what we're about to do here is do what's called keyword insertion. I think it's called like dynamic insertion. So you enter in this little bracket here. You can do a countdown. You can do location insertion, meaning, like we were talking about, see where it says get rid of bed bugs fast, Forney. It shows whatever location they are in. You can do it by city. You can do it by state. Things of those nature. We're going to do keyword insertion, and then from there, get 95 off your bed bug treatment. This is just like what's going to show if, I guess, for some crazy reason, their keyword like doesn't show up. Oh yeah, that's right. You can't put get. Not enough characters. All right, do that. So see, just doing that alone brought us up to average. And we're actually going to pin that as number 1. Because of course, like if someone is searching for something, right, we want what they're searching for to show up first, because like that's obviously what they were looking for. So if you show that as your first, and then the next thing that they see is going to be you know, their location. Let's see. Yeah, because if they're typing in, you know, bed bug treatment near me, and then it says what city they're in, bam, get them. For this one though, I'm actually going to unpin it. That way, since we have the dynamic insertion of the keyword, which, like we said, say they type in, you know, bedbug treatment or bedbug treatment near me, bedbug service, whatever the case may be, that's going to show up first. And then from there, you'll have get $95 off bedbug treatment. And the reason I'm not pinning that as number 2 is because I want that to also show up. Because what Google's going to do is they're going to rotate different ads and see which one is performing best. And I'll show you guys in a second how you can actually track that as well. Yeah, I think that's what we want to leave that as for now. Location is number 2. All those is number 3. Yeah. I guess click to call now. We can pin that as number 3. See if there's anything else we can do about our offer. Get 95 off bedbug treatment. Nah, we're just gonna leave that one blank. I can't come up with anything right now. And then let's see, we'll do save ad. So we already got it up from poor to average now, which, like I said, guys, that's something that, you know, you definitely want to pay attention to, but don't like lose sleep over it. Our optimization score overall is at 92%, which is excellent. That is more important than that whole, you know, poor, average, great, good scale. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream so far. If you are, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. We'll be wrapping up here soon, but before I end the stream, I wanted to kind of just break down a lot of this stuff for you guys on the Google Ads because, like I said, it'll save you guys just so much time, headaches, money, right? You know, money's a big thing when it comes to running ads. You guys saw we spent, what, $700 or so? Or no, more than that. Just on this campaign, we spent almost 500. Just the bedbug campaign, let alone our pest control. I think we spent like 1,500 in January on ads. So, you know, if I can save you guys a lot of time, headaches, money, it'll help you big time. Let's see. What we wanted to look at, was it our assets? There's a way that you can actually look at, maybe under our assets. Let's take a look. There's a way you can look at the analytics of your actual, like the headlines, if that makes sense. And same thing with, like, you know, this is a site link, the call out, the promotion. It'll show you how many impressions they got. Did they get any clicks? Things of that nature. Any calls from our call button. Let's see. Come on, man. Where the heck is our headlines at? That part there, I might have to do a follow-up video for you guys, because, yeah, there's a way you can go in here and see how, like, each of the headlines are actually performing, if that makes sense. Let's see. Ads. No, that's just going to take us right back to... Oh, yeah, here we go. I was wondering, I was like, man, I know there's a way you can do this. So let's see. Of course, some of these we literally just put in there um, recently, but you can actually see how many impressions they are getting. So this one here, the location and city, as you would expect, that has the most impressions because a lot of times people are typing in, bedbug treatment near me and things of that nature. So that is getting a lot of our impressions this last week specifically. These are just, like I said, from the last week. Bedbug treatment in 24 hours has 16 impressions. What I don't like is get 95 off bedbug treatment only has 1. And of course, like some of these we literally just created too. So they're not going to have any impressions, obviously. But let me actually go out to beginning of January and see if that got any more impressions. So 95 off bedbug treatment has only gotten 21 total. I don't like that because that's obviously our lead magnet, right? That's what we want, getting the most. So I'll be interested to see if now that we actually pinned one of these at number 1, the first position, if that will get more impressions and thus, obviously get more clicks on it and more calls, things of that nature. But yeah, that's for the bedbug campaign specifically. So yeah, we went over both campaigns, the bedbug campaign, the general pest control campaign. Oh, we did a lot today. I don't even know how long we've been live now, but we did a lot today. We went over, 3 or 4 different Department of Agriculture websites to show you guys how to kind of navigate through those and, register to get like your licensing and all of that for those of you that are looking to start and grow your pest control business this year. If you don't know who I am, of course, if you're just hopping in, wondering who the heck is this guy, my name is Griffin Thomas, of course. I own my own pest control company, Preferred Pest Management, in the Dallas, Texas area. And we've been in business for 3, going on 4 years now. Crazy to say that. I feel like I still just started, but yeah, I've been in business for going on 4 years now, and on this channel I just kind of document my overall business journey. My content isn't just for pest control business owners. It'll apply really to anyone that's looking to start or grow their service business. I guess service businesses would be more so just kind of my broader appeal, quote unquote. We talk about just everything from starting the business, growing the business, Google Ads, bookkeeping, just like I said, just kind of documenting my journey. Anything that I tell you guys is literally from my experience. If I don't have an answer for you guys, I just tell you guys straight up that I don't have an answer. And yeah, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this stream. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it, and hopefully you guys took some valuable information. Like I said, I know we went over a lot of things today, and you'll probably have to rewatch it maybe once or twice, or go back through it and see some of the stuff we talked about today. But yeah, no, I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did and you haven't already, smash that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. It helps other people find the channel that maybe otherwise wouldn't. And of course, if you haven't already, share it with somebody. Share it with somebody if you think they could benefit from it. And lastly, of course, if you need anything, if you are looking at trying out GorillaDesk, we of course have a link for you guys down below. That's right, we were looking at GorillaDesk earlier, going over the line items and all that type of stuff. If you want to try out GorillaDesk, of course, we have that link down below where you can get it for 14 days for free with no strings attached. If you want to try it out and you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to shout it out in the comments after this goes from a live stream to a video. And I appreciate you all tuning in as always. If you have any questions, like I said, shout it out in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you